Welcome, everyone. I'm Newdigate. It is my pleasure to interview you about your work in the exhibition Prairie Interlace, Weaving, Modernism, and the Expanded Frame. This exhibition surveys the overall expansion of textile art in the Canadian prairies, mainly from 1960 to 2000. You were a very active contributor to this development, as attested by your works in this exhibition. Your numerous regional contributions are entwined with national and international recognition. You have crossed paths with many artists in this exhibition. But before going back to your work, I would like to map key points in your personal journey. You are South African born and you relocated in 1966 in your early 30s to Saskatoon with your young family. You acquired both a BFA and an MFA from the University of Saskatchewan. You moved in 1999 to Hornby Island, where you now live and work. You are a visual artist favoring drawing and tapestry making, including the digital manipulation, as feminist strategies around representation and identity that make space for stories and life marginalized in official history and its various codes of power. You state in an essay titled Kinda Art, Sorta Textile, Refusing Definition, appropriately published in the anthology Feminist Art Criticism, edited by Katie Dapewell and published by the University of Manchester Press, that you, and I quote you, work in tapestry primarily for its materiality and its capacity to shift within traditions, to shuttle between theoretical positions, to hover around borders, to challenge hierarchies, and to connect with many different resonating imperatives. I believe this quote frames well your tapestry and preparatory sketch titled National Identity, Borders, and the Time Factor, or We Mani, from 1980. Can you tell us more about this work?
Yes, I can. It's a long time ago, but I worked on it in Edinburgh when I was doing a postgrad year there, and there was Maureen Hodge and Fiona Matheson who were the instructors. And it was very Spartan. We sat on a box and we were given a pipe loom and we got to work. And that was the second one that I did there. The previous one was called Edinburgh Performance. So why it got its name, bearing in mind that national identity isn't perhaps as I don't want to say relevant, as fraught as it is now, and borders. And I recently, having come from a country which was essentially a police state, I was very aware of these things. So I'd sit at my box, and the other 20 odd students would circulate around and come and join me and sit there, and somebody would say, they repeatedly, someone would say, how are you getting on with We Mani then? And so that was the image. So a lot of my work is autobiographical, going back to before I went to art school and currently. In today's date, but so that's how it got to be called National Identity Borders. The time factor is very autobiographical because it is a time-consuming art. It's a great privilege to be working in something that was worked on thousands of years ago, and so there's a lot of my autobiographical thoughts in it. The little collection of flowers in the left-hand corner, I got a letter when I was doing the planning from someone in Saskatchewan who sent me dried flowers, so that got included in the tapestry. I was living beside the waters of Leith in Edinburgh, right on the waterbank, and you'd be amazed to see the things that came down the river. It was a fast-flowing river right through Edinburgh. And, there'd be things like a prosthetic leg or a chair or who knows what. So that that's where the message about the river carries marks like a diary. And of course, keeping a diary was something that I did. But as well as being autobiographical, I've always worked with wanting to invite viewers' responses and interpretations. So the autobiographical part is rather disguised, and instead I don't want my experiences to be my specific ones, which they are, but that anybody looking at the work could bring their own recollections or memories to what they're doing. And this is, as with the catalogue that was done for the Look at It This Way series, it's the whole thing is inviting the viewer participation.
Thank you, Anne. Let's look at the second work in the exhibition, which has a double title. The first title is When There Were Mrs. Rochad's Dream, and the second title is You Are What You See. It is the third panel of a 7 tapestry series titled Look at It This Way. This series highlights your enduring interest for the different ways of viewer interpretations according to the method of construction. What would you like to tell us about this work?
Well, I should have had this ready, but here we go. This was the catalogue which said, look at it this way. And these were the pieces that were in the same scale. There's Mrs. Rorschach, can you see? And the others in the series. All of them are addressing the notion of what people see and what I see too. After Edinburgh, I started to work in series. So this is one of the first ones, and another one has been sentences, and it's verbatim quotes taken from newspapers, ephemeral information that very often with tapestries it is said that it's 200 years old, as is the ones I was looking at and so on. And so it was a translation of newspapers from these sentences, and I didn't change one word in them. That is another series. Do you want to?
And on this, I think one of the effect of that series is that when you are looking at it from far away, you thought that the viewer could see, for example, a painting. And then when they come close by, they suddenly see it's a tapestry. And that was the play of,
yes,
am I correct about that?
Thank you for reminding me. As I said at the beginning, I studied at the University of Saskatchewan, a very New York-oriented art department dominated by Clement Greenberg. And so when I was getting really involved with tapestry, I started to think, a lot of paintings try to look like a tapestry. And so it was from there that I developed those notions. On one of the pieces in Look at It This Way, I did a tapestry which related to the Emma Lake workshop, which was also very dominated, I think, by New York. And I painted on the tapestry using acrylic paint, and I did it in the studio of 2 friends of mine, David Alexander and Grant McConnell. And so I was challenging like this whole thing of falling between the gap kind of art. Was if there's paint on it, does it go up in the hierarchy? And I'm not sure it did. But we had a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for that glimpse of those two works. And I would like to invite our viewer to consult your website for an update about your prolific career and your ongoing work. So thank you very much, Han.